Well, another thing that I want to bring up is you guys have a podcast of your own, two-piece on a pod.
Yep.
It's been a little bit since the last episode. I was looking today, I was like, 5-6 months? Is that what it was?
Yeah, roughly.
What was it like having the podcast, and are we going to expect a new episode?
No, we'll bring it back.
Okay, good.
I'm sure it'll be back in the spring. Once the season started, we just kind of forgot about it.
Tough. It's tough.
No time for school, so there's definitely no time for anything else.
No time to record a podcast.
Yeah.
But it'll be back.
Okay,
back
good.
and better than ever.
Good. Well, I know.
With all sorts of stories and guests from the year.
Yes.
It helps getting Caitlin on. That was a lot of views.
Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine.
That's a
Good
cheat
for
code.
business.
It's a cheat code.
You put her face on a thumbnail, it'll get a lot of views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps.
What was it like having her on the show and having your other guests as well on your own podcast? What was that like?
I think the coolest thing about having the podcast is like it's not really like a traditional interview, right? Because most of the people are our friends. Like Caitlin Clark, I consider her a good friend.
Yeah.
Like we're very good friends, and Payton can say the same thing. So it's not like a typical kind of media situation, right? Like we're just kind of BSing and we record it, and we talk about real legitimate stuff, and it's just kind of a different conversation, and it's a very interesting dialogue, I think. So that's probably my favorite part about it, is it's just kind of like a different sense of media, and it's just kind of a different comfortability level you get, I think, with the guests, just in terms of like because you already have such a strong relationship with them. So I think it's really cool, and I'm a very curious person by nature.
Yeah.
So, being able to learn about other people and, where are you from, what makes you act the way that you act is something that I think I've always really enjoyed and I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. I think it's really fun, and I think people that watch get to see a completely different side of kind of who we are. And, I think we talk a little bit about ball, but a lot of it's like telling old stories about, random stuff when you were 8 years old or in high school. And I think I have a ton of fun doing it, and, getting to know people's backgrounds and kind of their funny stories from playing, I don't know, baseball or soccer when they were a kid. It's pretty cool.
What is the best story that you got out of one of those interviews, whether it was from Caitlin or whether it was from, I know Price got on the show as well. Was there a story that one of your guests told you that really stuck out in your mind?
Mine probably was when I was doing it with Connor, and we had Tyler Cook on, and Tyler Cook had a 10-day with the Brooklyn Nets when they had Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden. And
heck of a time to be alive.
Oh, I know, right? So the best story I think was he goes down to breakfast, and like he's on a 10-day, so like you can't be late for anything, like so he's very like on point with all that kind of stuff. So he goes to breakfast like 10-15 minutes early, and Kyrie Irving is just sitting there in the dark eating breakfast and just goes, "Good morning, brother."
Oh my gosh.
They're just sitting there in the dark, like eating, like, "Good morning, brother," and he's like, "What's up, dog?" Like whatever. So
Kyrie.
Yeah, exactly. So that's probably my favorite story so far that I've heard from the pod. Just that one was hilarious.
That's like a surreal moment. There's Kyrie Irving in the dark.
Yeah.
I'd almost be like freaked out that
exactly.
happened.
Exactly. Just in the dark, eating breakfast. That was my favorite.
What about yours,
My
Payton?
favorite probably came from Price's episode, because we grew up. We had like a nice cul-de-sac, and we had a bunch of neighbors who love sports, so we'd play all different sorts of sports. So we're probably 6 or 7 years old, and he's talking about how we had the Miracle movie, the hockey movie, in our car. So we'd watch it like 100 times, like a week, every time we were in the car. So we get out, we get home one day, and Price is like, I think I want to be an NHL goalie. So he goes and puts on like a catcher's mask and like a coat. And we had this like little soccer net, and we set it up. So we had hockey sticks and like a tennis ball, and he put on like a first base mitt, and we just started slapping slap shots at him, all our neighbors, and he's trying to stop him.
How did that go?
It was a good time. I didn't remember it. I don't think he did great. And then we started like a hockey league in our neighborhood, and
heck yeah,
it was pretty sweet.
That's just
it was a good time. Running around.
I can't imagine Price that tall and lengthy trying to stand in front of a net. I mean, that's simply not the goalie frame size, if I'm thinking correctly.
No, it was a good time. I mean, he wasn't as big then. He was just a little kid. So
Yeah.
it was pretty fun.